All right, we're doing another build here at CES 2019, this time from my favorite suite ever, my own. That's right, we're here at the Palazzo Hotel. This is our room, and I think this might be the first time I've ever tried to build a system in a hotel room. Fortunately, the rooms here at the Palazzo are very spacious, but we have a relatively tiny table, so we'll just have to see how it goes and work with what we got. But we have a lovely build in store for you guys today. It's gonna be a gaming-centric build. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. This video is brought to you by MSI. They've sponsored this video, and thank you to them for making this happen. They've actually provided the graphics card and the motherboard, and we're gonna go over the parts really quick in no particular order. Our video card is the MSI GeForce RTX 2070 Duke. This is actually a really great card that I've had the privilege of working with in the past, just recently for Chris's build. In fact, he's been loving it so far, says it's given him no problems, and it's super speedy for all of his gaming and workstation tasks. It's a great card. It's got a triple fan design. They're using their triple Torx 2.0 fans, which are incredibly quiet and effective at dissipating hot air off of those huge fin stacks. It's a fairly long card, but not too girthy, so hopefully we'll be able to mount it vertically in today's case, which is also very exciting. The card also has an incredibly strong backbone. The backplate is not only sexy as hell, but very reinforced, so should hopefully help eliminate GPU sag, and even if it doesn't, the card comes included with a GPU sag brace. Just below that, we have the CORSAIR H110i Liquid AIO. It's a 280mm radiator, and it does a great job of carrying heat away from our CPU, which will be generating quite a bit of heat. It's a great AIO, tried and true. I've used it many times in the past, and I think it's also going to look lovely in today's case. Moving on, we have our SSD. It's our only drive for today. No mechanical storage here. It's just a demo build after all. This is the HyperX Fury RGB. Pretty standard, typical SATA Rev 3, 6 gigabit per second drive in a 2.5-inch form factor, but very reliable, very speedy for SATA Rev 3, of course, and it's got that lovely RGB touch on the front. I love the integrated lighting. It's very seamless. You don't see any LED hotspots or anything like that, so looking forward to putting that in the rig today. The motherboard's from MSI. It's their MPG Z390 Gaming Edge AC. It doesn't mean it comes included with air conditioning. The AC is, of course, referring to wireless AC, so it does have a wireless AC card built right in, which is fantastic. Gives you that flexibility when trying to connect to the interwebs. MPG, what does MPG stand for? Most pouty gamer. No, multiple pretty girls. My precious Game Boy. Mary, please go. I think they're getting worse. Man, PUBG. Okay, we'll get But I actually really like this board. It's got an 8+4-pin power connector for the CPU, delivering up to 540 watts of power. So that's actually really nice. The overclocking should be pretty good on this board as well. The VRM heatsinks are extended, at least the one on the left is. You can see that it just goes up and up and up and over the I/O area. It's extremely huge. It's one of the bigger VRM heatsinks on the Z390 platform that I've seen. The board also features Intel Turbo USB for twice the speed, twin turbo M.2 slots giving you PCIe Gen 3x4 connectivity up to 32 gigabits per second, and the list goes on. There's a ton of connectivity on this board, and it's all blacked out with some RGB lighting on the side. I feel like there's no more worthy CPU for this build than the Intel Core i9 9900K, which I have here in the little clamshell. I don't have a retail box for the CPU because I don't own one. This is actually an engineering sample. Of course, it's got 8 cores, 16 threads. It's an absolute beast. Very expensive, but what do you expect from the world's fastest gaming CPU? For memory, we're actually going to be using a 16 gigabyte kit of Corsair's Dominator Platinum. This is not the new RGB version that we saw at CES. This is the old school kit, but still very good DDR4 3200 speed kit, and it's silver, sort of gray, so it's going to match with a lot of the other components in this build. Just to the right of that, we have Be Quiet's iPower 11. No, it just says I on the box that's being covered up. This is the straight Power 11 750 watt unit. It's actually kind of funny that this is a higher wattage power supply than the 2970WX Threadripper build that we built earlier this week. It's kind of backwards there, but it's what we had at the time. This is a fantastic unit. It's 80+ gold certified, fully modular, very nice black cables, and a Silent Wings fan built right in for extreme cooling and silence. If you want my personal opinion on this unit, it's it's very good. Our chassis is the very new Fantex Eclipse P600S that Fantex was actually showing off at their booth during this week. It's very exciting. I actually stole it from their booth because I liked it so much. They are still currently trying to find me. I think it's a great looking case, personally. Of course, looks are subjective, but it has the same functional interior layout as the EvolveX, which is a fantastic case on its own. Of course, it looks a little bit different from the outside. I would say it's even a bit more flexible than the EvolveX in the sense that it has these modular panels on the top and front that allow the user to tailor the system awesome for airflow or silence. I also like the fact that underneath those panels, they're actually using like a fabric mesh material, which is supposed to allow air to more easily permeate, giving you higher airflow than a typical plastic mesh filter. I believe they're going to offer this case in black and white as well, but you can see I have the anthracite gray here. And I love the fact that they've continued that treatment on the interior, not just the outside of the case, for a more uniform look. So those are all the parts. Thanks again to MSI for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to find links to any of this stuff, I'll drop them in the description for you. But without further ado, let's get assembling this super sweet build. Sweet, S-U-I-T-E. Double meaning, double entendre there, play on words. It's not as funny when I have to explain it. All right, build complete. Look at it, just look at it. It's awesome. Gray and silver accents throughout. It looks fantastic. Of course, I have to shout out how fabulous the graphics card and motherboard from MSI look as well. The P600S was a dream to build in. Obviously, if you're a fan of the Evolve X, then this is gonna be a very similar experience. There were a couple snags along the way, however. The side panel window was a little bit difficult to get off of these hinges. It was kind of stuck for a little bit. We had to sort of rock it back and forth until it finally popped off. So for the power supply, we actually have the fan mounted up at the moment. And that was only because we didn't want to show the ugly sticker that's on the other side, but it's not a really ideal situation. We just did it for pretty B-roll and stuff, mainly for aesthetics, because there's hardly any clearance between the top of the power supply and the top of the power supply basement, so it's getting a little choked there. I would much prefer it to be face down. It would have been nice if they included like a modular plate that you could put on here to cover up any ugly stickers, or if they just punched some ventilation holes at the top of the shroud. That would have been nice too. Now the case does support vertical GPU mounting. You actually have 3 slots here to put the card even further away from the tempered glass side panel, so it gets a bit more airflow. However, we didn't have the appropriate PCIe riser card that's compatible with this case, so we actually ended up throwing in last minute a cable mod vertical GPU mounting bracket, and that actually puts the card even further back into the case, putting it right in between the 2 140mm fans, so you're actually getting air on both sides of the card, which is exactly where you want to be. Apart from that, the case is fantastic. A lot of room inside the case. I was actually able to mount the 280mm radiator first, and then route my 8-pin EPS cable for our CPU, which can be kind of hard to do in a case that has limited space inside, but it was no problem here. Apart from that, cable management was a total breeze, especially when you've got that power supply shroud. There's lots of helpful Velcro straps back there and plenty of space between the motherboard tray and the rear side panel to make everything look tidy. Overall though, I love this case, I love this build, I love all the parts inside the build, and you should too. You need to like all the same things that I like. Thank you very much again to MSI for sponsoring this video. Thanks to you for watching it. Again, links to all this stuff in the description. Toss a like on the video if you enjoyed it. It helps us a lot. Get subscribed for more tech stuff coming at you really soon. And we will see you guys next time in the next video. Let's get the hell out of Vegas. I'm sick of this place.